Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's the Canadian Bowler Podcast once again. I'm your host, Luke Caldwell. And as always, I'm here with Daryl Fitzgerald. Daryl, how's it going?
Not too bad, Luke. How are you doing?
Oh, a little sleepy. I had a lot of turkey last night. Had my Thanksgiving dinner last night. But other than that, not too bad. How about yourself?
Actually, about the same. Stuffed myself with turkey at a family Thanksgiving. Small group, of course, but it was good. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving from the Canadian Bowler. I guess speaking of being thankful, I guess we're thankful for all of our loyal viewers. And just before we get started here, I'd like to remind everybody that you need to, well, you don't need to, but we would appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the thingies that Daryl's got linked: Twitter, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're on them. We appreciate all the thumbs up, all the shares, all the subscribes. Um, Daryl and I were speaking before the show, and we're only 29 subscribers away from 500 on YouTube. I guess that's our goal before January 1st, 2021 would be to hit that 500 subscriber mark. That would be a really big monumental landmark for us.
Absolutely.
So Daryl, the bowling season would, I guess, be over at this point. What a year we've had, eh?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah. It's been interesting for sure. I mean, I feel like you and I with the podcast have made the most out of it, but I know not everybody's been able to talk bowls or get out on the green. I mean, I'm sure lots of people did, but not everybody. What are some of the things that you really missed out this year, Daryl?
Um, the championship season, it's always exciting, whether I'm in it or not. Seeing friends and people that I know get up into the Canadians, whether it's the Canadian majors, the mixed pairs, all that kind of stuff. I really, really miss that. I enjoy either attending it and seeing people play or attending it and playing myself if I can get in there. That was the goal. And for me, international play, because I coach for Bowls Canada. I'm usually a part of the coaching team that goes and helps our international players. So I really, really miss that. And the final thing is coaching. I was actually supposed to run a few coaching courses across Canada. One of them that was actually booked, and I think it was just after the pandemic really started to kick off and all travel shut down, was to go to Nova Scotia, and it would have been awesome to go out there and run a weekend coaching course. So I really miss that. How about you?
Yeah, I guess similar things to you, but I guess selfishly, just stuff for us to talk about in on the podcast, because the
Yeah.
whole idea of the podcast was to speak about current events, celebrate winners in Canada, kind of follow our national team around wherever they're going. And yeah, it would have been really cool since we have you, the coach. We get a little bit of an inside view on what's going on with all that stuff. But unfortunately, we didn't get to do that. So I think it's been tough. It's been really tough for us with the podcast because we don't want to give up, and we've been trying to put out stuff that I don't know people want to listen to. So it's been hard to find stuff like that. So I guess I missed just that and the competition and everything else.
Yeah, I think some people don't realize we didn't plan on having a guest every single show, but with the state of bowls and really the lack of events and results and champions and things that are happening, we started to book a lot more guests to chat and to give you guys some insight that you might not have, to kind of bridge that gap. But I guess the gap just started going and kept going. So that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting going forward. I mean, I hope next year we have a little bit more to talk about. I mean, I guess over the winter, if we continue to do the podcast, which I think we are planning on, it's still going to be tough, but maybe we can figure something out there.
Yeah, and for those of you that are watching this show, we really, really do appreciate you tuning in week after week, month after month, for every show that we do. And those that may not know, we do also have another show called After Dark. It's one that we kind of kicked off during the year. It was an idea of ours to kind of expand this show and this brand and everything that we're trying to build here, to add something new. And we think that it's been going pretty well, but we were hoping that you guys would give us feedback on who you want to see, what you want to see, and what you want to listen to and hear from us.
Yeah, we've definitely had some pretty reoccurring guests, which I mean for us makes it a little bit easier because there's a little bit less of a rundown that we have to give everybody before the show. But I understand the idea of the show wasn't to have the same 5 people or the same 4 guys and a couple extra every week. So we would like to know who you'd want to see on. Who do you want to see have a conversation? Who do you want to hear stories from? Because that's kind of the whole idea of that show, is to have healthy discussion, talk old stories. Imagine you're sitting around at the bar having a drink after a tournament and you're just shooting the shit about all the lawn bowling stories, talking about your day. And that's kind of the whole idea of the show.
It was. We wanted to keep it casual. We wanted to keep it free for anybody to talk about anything, and that was really the basis of the show. And it's been a struggle. I'll say the first couple shows, they've been pretty good, but we're hoping that they'll just continue to get better as people get more comfortable with us, more comfortable with actually being on video and streaming out to well, currently hundreds of people, and hopefully we'll increase that amount.
Yeah,
It's intimidating.
I mean, I guess you and I know both, Daryl. It's tough. It's tough to talk when you're on camera. Like you and I both have streamed other things over the course of the year and years past. It's you almost have to learn that you're not just talking to yourself most of the time, even though you seem a little crazy.
Yeah.
I guess the After Dark one's a little bit different because you have a panel of guests that you can throw ideas around on. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world, and I understand why people might be a little intimidated. But I promise you, it's not so bad.
And we try to make it as easy and painless as possible for everybody that's involved. We try to make it just so you just have to load up, connect with us, and just talk, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know, guys, in the chat today or in the comment section below or on Facebook, anywhere you'd like to reach out. Who would you like to see on the show? Who do you think would be a good guest or multiple guests? Because we're open to all suggestions. Because I know we do know a lot of people, but we don't know who you want to hear from, and it's also hard to just think about who we want to talk to. So if we could get some input, it'd be very helpful.
And for you guys, I want you guys to know that we are still working at this as hard as we can. It is just the two of us, and we do try to come up with great ideas and new content and things to talk about. But the feedback from you guys means a huge amount to us because it sparks new ideas, and it puts us on the right path to make stuff that you guys want to listen and talk about. And on that note, I do want to start bringing back the Coach's Corner segments. I haven't done one in a little while. I have actually probably 3 or 4 kind of in the pot cooking, and I just haven't been able to finish them so that they're a good product to put out to you guys.
Yeah, I hope you do get some of those going soon, Daryl. I always enjoy listening to them, and I always think that there's good feedback from the audience on those. So yeah, I think it would be really cool to bring those back. I guess just speaking about the show, Daryl, and we're winding down here in the end of the year. The bowl season would be over. Let's just look back at the show since we don't have any champions to celebrate this year. Who, I guess, how am I going to say this? What was your favorite show that we recorded this year? What was your favorite thing that we put out?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think our pilot episode was one of the funnest ones that I had. We didn't actually have a live guest. We did have a guest, Ryan Bester. He was gracious enough to come and talk to us and be the first guest on our show and to kick things off. To be able to talk to him, to do some analysis, which we did. We kind of kicked off Coach's Corner, I believe, as well. It was really the start of everything. I was super nervous going into it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who was going to actually watch the show. But the excitement, the adrenaline that was going on at the time, and looking back at that show, and I've actually rewatched it just recently. I want to keep that going. I still want to be excited. I want to have guests that we're excited about and want to talk to, uh, and just to know that people are out there and really interested. It was a really cool experience just kicking everything off.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you on that one, Daryl. I mean, it's always a pleasure being able to speak with Ryan. Um, just someone I've always looked up to in the sport for so long. It's always a pleasure whenever I get to kick it with him or even just have a conversation like we did on the podcast. So thanks, Ryan, if you're out there listening. Who knows? But thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I guess another things that were kind of, I guess, special to me was the episodes where we got to have people that I would call super close friends on. Like the first live episode with Rob. Rob's a really great friend of mine. I talk to him, call him on the phone, I don't know, 2 times a week. We talk a lot, so it was nice to be able to have him on the show. And then the addition of Michael Patulli to the Canadian Bowler After Dark, just bringing him on board, just kind of throw ideas around and be a regular guest on that. That was something that meant a lot to me, just because people that are so close supporting the show.
I would agree with that as well. One thing that I've really enjoyed is while we've been able to have people on that are our friends that we know, and the reason we do that is because we can connect to them. We can say, "Hey, we need you on next week. Can you come on and do an interview?" It's being able to reach out to other people. We've had some people that Luke and I aren't super close with. We do know them and we have met them, but they are important figures in our Bulls ecosystem that we've been able to pull on, and I also think that we've been able to make a lot more friends through this as well.
For sure. And I think something that our audience may or may not understand is that we're a small podcast. Obviously, it's not the easiest thing in the world to get these big giant guests. Like, I'm not going to name names, but we have reached out to people who I've wanted to speak to, or maybe I thought people would want to listen to, and either we don't get a reply, or they can't do it, or whatever. So it's not the easiest thing in the world building kind of like our talent pool or pool of guests that we can really pull on, just because I don't know, people might not know who we are, might not care, might just not want to do it, might not feel comfortable. I'm not throwing shade at nobody, but it's not the easiest thing in the world getting guests, and that's part of the reason why you might see people more regularly on, especially the After Dark show, because we need to have such a large group of people for it. Like if you watch the last show, we had a pretty good cast lined up for it. Daryl wasn't supposed to be on the show. It was the show that we teased, and it all fell apart like the day before the show. And then I had to scramble and add guests, and that's why we were missing one at the start, and we had to pull Grant in, came in late, and it was a mess. But I mean, it's just some of the struggles of trying to keep a show going.
And it's the struggle of live content. So we're not filming these things before, doing a little editing, cleaning stuff up. We're doing this live. So if we screw up live, we screw up live, and it's out there, and it's permanent, and people know. So it's very tough.
Yeah, and then we've had the internet issues over the year, which I mean, we don't even know what's going on. Daryl's had more than enough texts out there. He texts me every day when he's had problems. We'll be playing a game or something, and he'll be like, "Oh, my internet's going down again," and it happens all the time. And he's done everything in his power to get it fixed. So I apologize for both of us when the show goes down, but just something that's out of our control, and we're trying our best here.
Yeah, and I just want to say, working with you, Luke, being able to do this show, having this idea like a year ago. More than a year ago now, I guess.
A long time ago.
Yeah. And just having it actually come to fruition, and having someone that wanted to do it, that is dedicated to doing it, and that comes every single time and does the show has been fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely makes it easier knowing that you're going to show up, and people probably don't know. Daryl does a lot more work on the show than me. I know I've said this in the past. He runs all of our social medias. He made all the wonderful layouts that you guys get to see when we're talking, and does a lot of work. So the show definitely would not be possible without Daryl, even though he's got crappy internet, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's the one downfall. John Siteman's out there chatting. For any other viewer that's in the chat, feel free to send messages. Tell us what you want to talk about. If you have questions for us, whether it's bowls, whether it's streaming, whether it's how to do a podcast or get things started. We're happy to talk about everything and anything. So just let us know.
Yeah, for sure. Like we can talk about Bulls. Obviously, we're a Bulls related podcast, but we just spoke about it. We know how slim the Bulls has been to talk about this year. So if you want to talk about anything, don't be afraid to fire it out there.
Yeah. We want that interactivity. The one solo show that I did went really, really well. And the reason it went well was not because I was here talking my butt off at you guys. It was because there were people in chat asking questions and saying stuff that I could react to and that I could talk about. That's what made it a success. So you guys add as much to this show as we do.
And I'd also like to just check this out there. I know we've asked this in the past and we haven't got a whole lot of response. We're at a different time again today. I'm sorry about that, but what time does the audience want to see the show at? Do you like us here at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, or do you like it later in the afternoon? I don't know what's best. We don't really have a preference. It's just kind of what our schedules line up, but whatever the audience likes the best, we can absolutely make it happen.
Yeah, we haven't seen a huge difference between the morning and the late night ones. Um, we we do notice that different people tune in at different times. So it might just be 50-50, split down the middle. The other thing is, the reason why we're on early today is obviously because of Thanksgiving. We don't want to take away from anybody's Thanksgiving dinners. We're not trying to squeeze ourselves in of your family plans. So we thought that 11 a.m. today made the most sense for everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, uh, on the weekend, it's nice. Everyone likes to have their days. So I mean, I understand 11 o'clock's not the earliest and it's not the latest. So you still got some morning to have your breakfast and your coffee, and you got plenty of afternoon to go do whatever you got to do.
Um, so without doing the coach's corner, I kind of wanted to talk about something as well. I tried to do the coach's corners as a way to dispense information to you guys. I only get 10 minutes, 15 minutes to really put something out there. So when I build and put those together, I really concentrate on trying to get a few key messages out there. It is hard to boil something down to just 10 minutes, but the idea is for me to give that information and put it out there for you, and hopefully you take it and run with it. In the future, I'm hoping to expand that to actually do possibly a recorded video or maybe another live video, but expand the Coach's Corner into a full half-hour show or 45-minute show or whatever it is, so that you guys get more information. I can go deeper into subjects and talk about things. Recently, I've had a lot of questions about the mental game, and I just wanted to take the time now, outside of everything else, without going into another Coach's Corner, to say, while you are in the off season, while you're going through winter, while you have that downtime, take a look at the mental game. Take a look at information and stuff out there that will help you with the mental game. One of the things, I just pulled it off of my shelf this morning when I was thinking about it. Zen Golf, that's a book that I use. Dr. Joseph Parent. I recommend it to everybody. It's golf, but it is an excellent resource to just read through and get an understanding of what the mental game is. It talks about visualization. It talks about repetition, your unconscious mind trying to focus in on bowls. So use things like that to expand your knowledge, and then let's have a conversation after, and hopefully we can expand the content on this show about that stuff.
I also, I don't know if you've seen it there, Daryl. I sent you a book. It's a book that I've used personally, and I've actually given away a few copies to people over the years. I know somebody who's listening, Mike, he just messaged me telling me how dreamy I look today, but I know I gifted him a copy of this book, and he said how good it is too. I think he just said it in the chat. It's one of those books that's very, very helpful. And yeah, I would definitely give it a read if I was looking to work on my mental aspect, whether it's in bowls or not. It's a great book, and it's written by correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, you're out there. It's written by, I think, some sort of guy who works with a bunch of professional athletes. I don't really know what his job is, but he's a very good book, or very good writer. It's a good book. I can't English today.
Yeah, and for us, it's one of those topics that people know about. We don't really talk about it, and in bowls, it's one of those things that we don't really dive into and work on. It's a huge part of our game. The book that I was talking about talks about the setup and the approach and the golf swing. So you're setting yourself up to actually make that swing. So you take your practice swings, you have your approach, you're looking down the green and know what line you want the ball to go. It's the same in bowls. You're behind the mat, you're picking your shot, you're getting all your equipment ready, you're setting yourself up to know line and weight and how you're going to approach the mat and get yourself set. They go hand in hand. So understanding those concepts really help players get better at the game, get that extra 5% or whatever you need just to get over that hump.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. It's probably people might not like this, but I think anybody can roll a bowl close to the jack. But the biggest part of being an elite player is being able to not beat yourself before your opponent beats you. I know how hard it is to not beat yourself down when you're having a bad game, and how hard it is to come back when you're having a rough game. And the mental aspect of the game is what's going to drive you to the next level. It's going to drive any player to the next level, because you, Daryl, we've watched so many people just explode on the green because something goes the wrong way. And if that doesn't happen, that player has a significantly better chance of coming back and winning that game. So, yeah, I think, like I said, I think anybody can roll a bowl. Not everybody can save themselves from beating themselves.
It's true. I think we make it a lot harder than it has to be. People look at a jack and it's, you roll it out there, you can make your first bowl. Why can't you make the second one? Why can't you make the third one? It's repetition. It's understanding what's going on up here to make that shot. If you think about it, when you're eating, how many times do you miss your mouth with your food? Okay, it happens. But most of the time you can look somewhere else and you can actually shovel stuff into your mouth with your hand. Why can't you put enough concentration into your bowl shot that you can make it over and over and over again? It's repetition. It's practice. It's understanding to focus on the right things at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. I had something and I lost it. So I'll take a step back. This is all you, Daryl.
Oh, I mean, we've kind of diverted into this talk from what we're doing, but the real sentiment is, Luke and I want to build pieces of this show up so that we can continue to do them. The analysis part kind of went to the wayside because we were hoping that we would have provincials to look at or nationals to look at and games that have been streamed that are inside Canada that we could look at to give people a little perspective on how we play and how things go. That wasn't really possible. So we're going to possibly look at some older video or some video from Australia who is actually playing bowls right now. And we want to expand things like Coach's Corner. And I know Luke wants to have some segments that he can talk about stuff as well. So we're looking to really expand this, and it's just going to take some time.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said a million times, I just really want to be able to record podcasts in person and to have a traveling podcast eventually. I know it's not cheap, and I know it's not, again, right now it's not going to happen, but it's something down the road which would be cool. I mean, if we could have a couple mics and a traveling computer to take with us and just be able to sit down if we're at the majors and sit down with a group of guys, or even just like record 5-6 podcasts and we have them in the bank and we can just throw those out for everybody's entertainment. And I think just the face-to-face conversation is something that people are going to really appreciate, especially after this. And I just think Like, I know maybe not for me, but I don't know about you, Daryl, but how often do you call your friends and just have a conversation? I think conversation is something that's really lost. Because people don't do it no more. We text and we write on Facebook and we do everything else. So I think conversations are great, and I think face-to-face conversations, especially after COVID, are going to be even better.
I can't agree more with that. Um, Text for me just doesn't do it. It's a great way to communicate. It's a great way to get messages quickly, or even see if someone, like, hey, are you coming, or hey, are you free, that kind of thing. But to have a meaningful conversation on there, it doesn't work. Even email doesn't work for me. Luke and I have had plenty of conversations, not face to face, obviously, but over other means, through voice communication, through like Discord and Skype and all that, to actually have conversations and talk things through. And I think it's been a big help.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if anybody knows me, I'm probably annoying to people like Mike and Rob and my dad and my mom. I could just, whenever I'm driving somewhere, I hate listening to the radio, so I just call people and have conversations with them. And I don't know. I like to talk to people, and it's easy time that I don't have to lose, I guess, because I'm already driving. So I enjoy calling people, even though I'm probably annoying, but whatever.
It means a lot, and especially in a time like we're going through right now, those conversations are important. Yeah, keep those connections going. I know, I talk to my family as many times as I can during the week, just to keep connected and
Yeah,
know
for
what's
sure.
going on.
Yeah, like I even just with my family, there's times where my brother Jesse, I don't speak to him for like weeks at a time, and then we'll have a conversation, and it almost just feels so weird because I'm so used to talking to people like the same people every day, and then when they're not there, it's weird.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying is, for everybody out there, for everybody listening, either now or later, um, don't lose those connections with people. Outside of bowls, outside of the show, outside of everything, I know Luke and I feel this is a huge and important part of just staying healthy and staying mentally sane, is have those conversations with people, keep those connections with your friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess just another thing I want to throw in here, just on the topic of the off season. I know in the sport of bowls, especially if you look internationally, you don't necessarily have to be in the greatest shape to be an elite lawn bowler. But I think it'd be good for everybody just to get out and have a walk or go for a run or try to eat a little bit better just to stay in good shape while you can't be outside exercising and stuff like that. Especially if you're really trying to become the elite bowler. Um, Trust me, if you've never been playing in 40-degree weather for 6 hours a day, your cardio really does come into effect, and just being healthy as a regular healthy person would definitely help. You don't need to go be some beefcake in the gym. Honestly, it's probably not going to help you in bowls, but I promise you, if you just try to stay in a little bit good shape, work on your balance and stuff like that, absolutely, it's going to help you in the long run. And just in the off season, especially now, if you're just going for a walk every day and stuff like that, it's going to keep you in the shape you need to be in.
Yeah, I can be honest, with all of you. Um, I have packed on a few pounds. You can't see it. I try to keep my desk at a certain height. Um, Being in this office, I work out of this office for my day job. I work out of this office for the coaching stuff, and I work on this for the stream and everything else. So I'm in this office, in this chair a lot. Um, I specifically need to get out and do a lot more stuff, to get fit. And my focus is to actually do that, because I know I've slipped, and I've slipped hard. So I need to get back on it and be prepared for next year, when I hope that Bulls will come back.
Yeah, I mean, I've slipped a little bit too. Like I said this a million times. If anyone knows me, you'd know that I was this little chubby kid for a long time, and I at one point didn't have much going on in my life other than work, so I was just obsessed with the gym and lost all this weight. And I mean, quarantine's been quite nice for me, so I've packed on the pounds too. I got to get back into some sort of routine and keep on going. So, yeah,
No, it's super important. Um, and for me, not being able to go to the gym, not being able to go to the green, not being able to just do everything I'm normally doing during the summer, it's one of those things that half I'll say even more than half of my life was just kind of carved out. No bowls, no anything, and I'm in here trying to find stuff to do, taking on home projects. We're doing renos, so everything's kind of gone into a spin because of COVID. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just in a different way. And to get back on track, to try to get things back to normal, and to stay sane and to stay fit, it's a work in progress, and I think it is for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And I know I don't want to speak just for people who are in a little bit younger and in great shape or in decent shape to start with. You don't like I know in lawn bowling a lot of the people are generally older than myself anyways. You don't want to go to the gym. Maybe you don't think you can. I'm not judging here, but a good place to start for younger, older, someone who doesn't want to go to the gym, get yourself a good set of just workout bands, whatever those are called. Anybody can use them. They're not overly difficult. They're quite cheap, and they're actually very effective. Just working with the bands, just for a little bit of strength training, whether that's something you need or something you don't. It's a good start, especially for bowls. Just keeping your arms going and everything moving, and then accompany that with just a walk. Everyone's got a dog, right? Or most people got a dog. Take your dog for a walk. Take your dog for an extra walk next week. Who knows? It's all going to help. Nothing's going to hurt.
Absolutely, 100%. So Luke, I guess changing gears a little bit here. Is there any guest in particular that you were either really excited to talk to, or you thought was just a super interesting guest to chat with, whether it's on the After Dark or on the show?
Someone that we've already had.
Yeah, or maybe is there someone in the future that you really want to get on?
Okay, I'll answer both those questions. I guess first, I guess I'll answer the one first. Someone I was really excited to talk to that we had on. I really enjoyed the Eric Gallapo interview. I thought he was great. He was very good on the show. He's got a lot of knowledge in the sport for someone who hasn't been around for that long, and I always appreciate talking to him. It's always fun. Obviously, we said before the Ryan Bester one's always going to be a pleasure no matter what. And I guess going forward, someone I would really like to have on, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I've always been a massive fan of Nathan Rice. You know this. If that was ever a possibility, it'd be almost a dream come true. I don't even know why. It almost started as a joke, but he's been one of my favorite bowlers in the space. So I think that'd be really cool to have someone like that on. What about you, Daryl?
I guess just to talk about that Nathan Rice one, it is really funny. It was someone that you met when you were over there in Australia. He actually just showed up to the green one day when we were practicing, and you got to meet him. So that was really neat, and it would be great to have him on the show. For me, I would actually like to see Kevin Anderson and Ryan Burnett.
That'd be a good one.
I think it would be super interesting. For those of you that might not know, these guys play and work with Ryan Bester. They play out of the Broad Beach Bowls Club. They're from the UK. They're not. I don't believe either of them are on the international team right now, but they are fantastic players. They win a ton of stuff in Australia. They have won a bunch of stuff in the UK as well when they were growing up. They played with Jake when he went over to the World Youth, so they were actually in that competition, and I believe Ryan Burnett won that one. I think that was the one that he won. They are hilarious. They did a couple commentaries on some games that were being played live on stream, and they're a fantastic group of guys. So getting maybe even Ryan Bester back with them and doing an After Dark would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be fun for sure. I mean, I've had the opportunity to meet both of those guys, and they're definitely a good crowd.
Yeah, and it's someone different. It's people, two guys that people might not know. It's people that don't know in Canada. Get a perspective of not only bowlers that have played at the UK, but have also transplanted to Australia, what that's like, what they think of that, and being able to play with international level players on a regular basis.
For sure.
And I guess for my favorite guest, it's hard to pick because there's been a lot of great ones, but I really liked having Chris Stadnick on. He is the president of my club. It was great to get a perspective of someone that's a club president during this time, and also just have some local flavor. He's more geared towards local bowls right now. He was an international player, but he's transitioned over to be looking after a club and trying to keep it going during the COVID season, pandemic. So just getting his perspective, I think, was a nice shift from national team, international executives, that kind of stuff that we've had on up to that point.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say one more here. It was really awesome. I guess I'll just say the After Dark show probably never would have happened without him. When we had the opportunity to have Dave Anderson on, Dave Anderson's been a legend in my mind ever since I came into the sport. He was almost someone who was like surrounded with a goddish glow when I was a little kid, just because I heard so many stories about him, right? So being able to sit down and speak with Dave was awesome. And again, like I said, he actually happened to tune into the random stream that I posted on Facebook where I was playing a fishing video game, and he was part of the conversation that birthed the idea. So thanks a lot, Dave, if you're out there listening, and we'd love to have you back, hopefully sooner than later. Yeah. So Dave was a great guest.
And I hope we can pull some more people for that show and for this show that are well known, but also those that aren't as well known and need a little bit of exposure, or I guess in my opinion should get a little bit of exposure for some of the stuff that they've done. We know, Luke and and I'm sure that many of you out there know, there are a ton of people behind the scenes that just don't get the praise and the exposure and the accolades that they should. You know, the greenskeepers, the people that volunteer day in and day out and run a lot of the events that we just take for granted. We go out and bowl. We had a great day. Everything ran smooth, but there's a ton of people behind the scenes that make that happen. So if we can get those people on the show, it'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, Daryl, people like that, they definitely deserve a little bit more than they get. Like I don't think I'd ever want to run a tournament. I would much rather play than be in the draw room trying to figure all that nonsense out. So
Absolutely. And yeah, I've done a little bit of everything just to help. I haven't been usually the sole person doing stuff, and just that alone is a little bit intimidating. So the work that goes into it, usually they don't get a ton of thanks. Sometimes they get some angry people where they don't agree with what they've done, or they don't agree that they got an end green, or they don't agree that the greens are the best. It can be tough.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Daryl, something I wanted to ask you, we actually haven't spoken about this before, but we might as well throw it out there because then everybody will know. Over the winter time, how often are we going to continue to do the show? Would you still like it to be bi-weekly? Would you like to do it a little bit less, a little bit more? I'm not sure. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I've actually, surprisingly, I've been thinking about this, and truthfully, we haven't talked about it. We had the week off last week. We kind of shifted where we usually skip a week. Because currently we're doing 2 of these shows a month and an After Dark. Usually we put in there. I'm thinking possibly during the winter we will ramp. Well, I'm thinking we might ramp down to do a couple shows a month. But I'm thinking that myself and possibly you, we can work on other content and start putting some other stuff out there, like solo talks, like the one that I had. I might just go on and stream live and see if there's questions and just talk to people. Not a formatted show, not an interview show, not anything like that. I might try to do some coaching stuff and post that up as just a solo. Here's a coaching piece of information that hopefully you can look at. So things like that might supplement instead of having us do this show just constantly when really we're in the down season and there's not a lot of bowls going on.
Yeah, and I know I've definitely spoken to you about it, Daryl, and I have talked about it before. I've always wanted to be able to have a live chat, something on Facebook, where I can just talk to people about, let's say, mental health or problems in their life. Because I mean, we've all had our struggles, and we've all got our demons, and I mean, I've definitely had my own problems, and I've always found it better to, whether it's put it out there publicly. I know not everyone might not want to do that, but just to have a conversation with someone, I know it's very helpful, and I'd love to be able to help other people, whether it's one person out of our 500 subscribers, or if it's 2 people or whatever, anything means the world to me. So if I could have the possibility to help anybody, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way we're gonna treat this off season. It's a time for us to do what I tell all the players. It's kind of reflect, retool, and figure out where we want to go for 2021, when hopefully things maybe not get back to normal, but we have a little more action than we were used to this year. If we can add some key shows, we can add some good information and some stuff that you guys want to see. We can really build up this show into something even better than it is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we've kind of talked about before. It's like we're kind of back painted ourselves into a corner by calling ourselves the Canadian Bowler Podcast. So kind of what we're thinking about doing is being more of like a media outlet and just kind of things like that, obviously surrounding the sport. But just something like that I think would be great going forward, and I'm actually really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And if we can get some more people involved, I know Mike Batuli has been really really helpful in not only bouncing ideas off of, but coming on the shows and being a part of it, and really coming up with some great ideas. If we can just pick a few more brains, get some people that really want to help us evolve this into something new and something better. I think we've got a good foundation that we've laid, and let's see where it goes going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we have a team at the moment, but I definitely wouldn't be upset if we built a team, maybe brought more people on board to maybe start their own show under the Canadian Bowler brand. Who knows? I think something like that would be kind of fun going forward. If anyone's got any great ideas, don't be afraid to reach out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Luke, uh,
So
anything else?
I don't know. I mean, like I've said, it's hard. It's hard to plan these shows with not much going on, and I feel bad. People probably listen and think we're just beating the dead horse by talking about the same stuff every week. So no, I don't think I do have anything else this week. I mean, I wish I did. I wish there was more to talk about, but uh, I don't. What about you, Daryl?
I think we've covered what we want to cover. It's okay. We're gonna have a short show for the Thanksgiving weekend. Really, thank you all for coming out and watching the show, for supporting us, for sharing. I know a lot of you share when we're going on and information about the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. And one last thing from me, on this Thanksgiving weekend, make sure to connect and see and do whatever you can to connect to your family and friends, and just reach out and say hi, how you doing, and be thankful for the friends and family that you do have. It's a really important for Luke and I, and then hopefully it's really important for you guys as well.
Yeah, I guess I'll second what Daryl said there, and just give somebody a quick phone call or ask them how they're doing. Uh, just stuff like that. It goes a long way. So yeah, guys, remember to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff up in the top there that Daryl has going on. We really do appreciate you. We are 29 subscribers away from 500. We're almost there. So please, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you know every time we go live or a video has been posted. Like Daryl said, there's more stuff coming your way. So be excited. We're excited. And I guess, as always, guys, Derek, I see you in the chat. Everybody, enjoy your turkey this weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. And as always, I hope all your shots are touchers.